Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to another chapter. Another chapter working on this guy right there. That's our A-10 Warthog. I keep calling it a Warthog because that's what I grew up calling these things. But it's A-10C Thunderbolt 2. Okay, it's made by Great Wall Hobby. It's a 1/48 scale model kit. We'll run that intro. We'll get started. We're back, and as you might be able to see here on my desk, I'm kind of working on another little project. I'm doing my whole 3D printing stuff and working on fuel injection rails for top fuel dragster engines and stuff. But that's another thing. Like I said, I've mentioned a couple times already, I'm dipping my toes in the whole 3D printing world, and yeah. Anyway, so last time we were working on the landing gear, and we got the landing gear done. I painted the tires, did that off camera, painted the tires, put the two halves of each wheel together, and then I put the wheel on the landing gears. And that's what we got here, here, and here. Okay? Bing, our landing gear's done. Okay? It's done, at least for now anyway, as far as that goes. So, if we look at our book, I'll change the camera here so you can follow along and see what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. So, this is what we did last time, right? We put all this together. What I did off camera was put the rims together, each side of the wheel, put that after painting the tires, and then put the tires on. Okay, did that for the main gear, and I did that for both the left and the right of the, well, I guess maybe these are the main gear. I don't know what they call main gear. Anyway, that was the front gear, this is the rear. Always two in the rear. Did the same thing. Put the rims together, put the tire on there. I have not yet put the decals on. I'll do all of that later on. Okay, so we're going to flip our page. We want step 25. Step 24 is continued on the next page. Step 25 is actually installing our landing gear. We're not going to do that yet because we've got lots of painting to do, but in the event we're going to do it, it's going to go in right here and go in something like this. Maybe I got the wrong side. I don't know. It looks like the gear is supposed to go towards the outside, so yeah. Going something like this. If we can get that in there. Doesn't really want to, but that might be a problem for future me, getting that to fit in there like it's supposed to. Looks like this is the way to go as far as getting it in there. Let's see. If I wanted to put this in now, how does this go in? It just lines up like that. Okay. So that's the problem. It's not really a problem. There is this tiniest of notches right there for the gear, for this bar to go into, and if you're off just a little bit, or if you can't hold on to it, if you're off just a little bit, it won't fit in there. It just barely fits in there, just nice and snug in there. It's no room for error. Anyway, we're not doing that. We're not putting it on because I got masking and painting and all that kind of stuff. So there's other things we can do though. These two guys, they can go on our little fins here on the bottom. So we've got to find our C tree. Where is C? C. I don't think I've been dealing with C. Which one is this? That's A. Here's C. C is our tail fin tree. But we need 1 and 2, and that's these two here. So let's get these off. And cleaned up. Here's my knife. And I have this stuff over here while I'm doing this. keep on having to lift my glasses up. I really should be more diligent in changing my glasses before I start doing this stuff. Let me get my file. Get a nice smooth edge on this. All right. This edge has a little bit of a notch going along there. I already have an idea of how this is supposed to go in there just by this notch, so I got to make sure that my nub is cleaned up properly. Otherwise, it's not going to sit in the little groove that they show it going into. Okay, that was that one. This is garbage. I'm just going to use my razor file on both edges. It's quicker, gets them all done at the same time. Much better. Okay, so these two pieces are going to go onto this spot right in here, along the bottom there, on each side. Okay, you can kind of determine which is a left and right by the little notch on the bottom of them. There's a little bit of a chamfer. Okay, and it's going to go in like this. And just kind of sit there. Okay. Sits in that notch there. Now, I'm already seeing a little bit of an issue because when we glued our wings on, this section here is actually part of the wing, but it is sticking out. You can see my knife is hitting it right there, and that's forcing this piece to stick out and not sit flush. So we're going to see if shaving this down a little bit can solve that problem. Sick of these things falling down on me. See how my carving skills are as far as putting these on. I don't want it sitting proud, but it sits proud on the front. So there's really not much I can do. It's going to stick out no matter what. It's just how much it sticks out at the back. It's quite a bit, actually. Not really. I'm pretty sure the real life plane, it doesn't stick out at all. But it's almost like they molded this piece thicker than they did the little trench. Let's just, out of curiosity's sake, yeah, you can't really get these mixed up because the little groove here is different for left and right. I'm trying to grab the picture. So that's that one. How about this side? This side looks a little bit more flush, but it sticks out just as much. So at least we have consistency. I'm just going to clean up our little tip here a little bit better. So that's the way it is, and yeah. So it's not going to sit flush, and we're going to have to live with it. So put this guy on this, get him sitting in his little channel as best as I can, and some glue along that edge. And that's how he's going to sit. I'm not particularly happy with it, but it's also not really anything I can do. It's the way it is. Just pressing it on there and make sure it is flat and flush in there. As flat as I can get it. Just hold it there for a sec. Or, you know, a few secs. Secs? Haha, secs. You laughing at that? What are you, 10 years old? Grow up. Okay. This side's going to go on in similar fashion. And I'll just kind of push on that to make sure it's flush. As flush as I can get it anyway. Unfortunately, you know, they've done a good job at doing some rivet detail along the edge of it. At the same time, so that makes it so that I can't really, you know, I can't sand it down and make it smooth, make it flat. It's kind of a permanent little ridge sticking out there like that. I could put some Vallejo putty along it and make it more of a transition, right? Make it a little rounded so it's not a hard edge. But in doing that, it also is not really quite accurate. Okay, so those two pieces are on. Those two guys right there. Two little fin type of things. Fin things, that's what I'm going to call them. That's their official name now. Fin things. So we look at the book and see what's next. They do show you kind of an up close look at what they look like when they're installed. They show the landing gear and how it looks like when it's installed, including the front one and our landing gear bay door on the front. Remember, we were looking at this thing last time, trying to debate whether I'm supposed to trim this edge off of it here or not, but they show the edge there, so I'm keeping it. And so, but again, this is going to go on later when we're doing our landing gear installation. So we'll flip over and see what's next. More landing gear stuff. Obviously, I'm not putting these in, not yet. This is all going to be saved for later. More of it down here, installing our little arms and where they go on there, and all that fun stuff. Little decals that's supposed to go on there underneath there. And now, if we're going to do our landing gears closed, I was wondering, I was looking at the sprues, on the M sprues, I had two sets of tires, and in one set, the flat edge of the tire was offset compared to how the other one was, and I was wondering why it's like that. Now we have it. I know why. If you're going to have this thing displayed in flight, your landing gear is going to be retracted, and you're going to use this set of wheels with these pieces as an alternative. So if I flip the page, you can see those being installed here. If you're going to do your landing gear retracted, and of course the front would be closed up nicely. So it looks like we've got flaps next, So we got to grab our A tree, A5 and 6. Here's our A tree. We want 5 and 6. That's those two guys right there. This is number 5. Okay, that's number 5. And then number 6. Okay, that's number 6. So the first thing they do is show you to get rid of these pins. Get rid of these pins. Okay? The first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these ugly nubs on them. Actually, what I'm firstly going to do is change my stupid glasses so that I can see without having them on my forehead. Can't really see with my glasses on my forehead anyway. Okay. It's really unfortunate they put the nubs right on the front of this. They could have undergaued this and made it look a lot nicer, but that's okay. That's why we've got things like my wonderful razor file for situations just like this. Okay, so they're saying cut these off. Obviously, because you can't have it. Well, you know, it's 3. This was number 5, right? Number 5 goes on this side. So I guess in theory, if you didn't cut them off, it would be sticking up like that, or sitting like this. I don't know how realistic that is. It's possible like that could sit like this. I don't know how realistic that is. But I think that's a cool idea to have it actually displayed like this with those open. Having them open like that is kind of a neat feature, I think. I think I want to do that. I want to have them like that. You can actually see right through. I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to leave these on. So that you're supposed to have it flush, according to this picture here. Right? They don't give you any other option. Like, they just said, hey, do it like this, and that's the way you do it. Shut up about it. But yeah, I'm going to glue them in that. I'm going to leave the tabs on, and I'm going to put them on in that position. I think that looks kind of cool. Like maybe they got them opened up for some maintenance or something, for inspection. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to get my other glue. And on the tips there, where it goes in the hole, and I'll put it so that it's flush right up there. So it's open, but it's not strangely open. And then I'll put a little glue on the edge here so that those pins are not the only things holding it on. And a little glue right there. And there we go. So there's one forward flap. Now let's clean this one up. Again, these unfortunate, unsightly nubs on the front leading edge. would have been nice if they had undergated these. Trailing edge ain't so bad, but okay. I already kind of test fitted it. Glue on those two tabs. Kind of have to hold it like this as I line it up. There we go. Lined up about there. Good. A little bit higher. There we go. Glue on that edge. Glue down here. Okay, the other forward flap in its possibly incorrect situation, but I think that looks neat because my flaps and everything are going to be on the back are going to be kind of actuated a little bit. But this is it for that part. So now step 29 is finished. So we flip over and we're going to deal with the little tail knob for lack of a better term. That's my technical term for it. It is called F1. It's Formula 1, and then we got some bits off of our O tree. So once again, we're going to see my O face. Here's our F1. It's labeled right there. Okay. Nice gating. Wow. Look at this. Now that's a huge gate to have to deal with. But it's okay. It's nothing we can't handle, right? Just don't trim it back too far. We're going to keep the tab on the bottom here, okay? I'm going to fix this one up. I'm actually going to use my knife. Use my knife, clean that up. And we want to be a little careful cleaning this up. We don't want to dig too deep. We all know what happens when you dig too deep, especially if you're a dwarf in the mine of Moria. They dug too deep. Okay, so we've got to basically fill in these little circles here with little things off of our O tree. So, O, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here's O1. O1 right here. So if we look at this in the same orientation they have, it looks like O1 actually sits on this little knob, but they have it like this. So O1 sits on this knob here. So the only thing I need to worry about is getting it lined up so that it's straight. Just like that. Okay. little glue on there. And there we go. Okay, there's O1 done. O1 done. Now we get O3. We'll do that one next. O3. We'll kind of work our way around. O3 goes on this side here. This is in similar fashion to the front, to the nose, in that how it kind of sits on there is relevant to the angle that it sits. I need to clean up my nub on this a little better. You know, when it's on my fingers, it's hard to see the nub, but when it's on the plane, I can see it. I want to make sure I have it oriented correctly. It doesn't look like it really matters though. So what I'm going to do is just put some glue in there. And it sits right about there like that. Okay. A little bit extra just to make sure. Okay, so that's O3 installed. Next we're going to go O2. O2 has a nice angle on it. It also means a nice ugly looking little nub. Okay, put that down. We know where it goes. It goes right there in the middle. So I'm going to put some glue there so that when I go to put it on, it'll kind of stay there. There. And now we just got to line it up before I kind of press it in to its home. There we go. Okay, a little extra glue just to make sure she's going to stay. And now, O4. Just going to make sure she's cleaned up. Okay, I know where it goes already. Right there. Just like that. Press her down. There we go. Okay, so they do show a picture here on how it's all supposed to look like when you've got it all assembled, and that's kind of what I got going on right here. So then we're going to glue the tip on to the back of our plane. Oh, she fits nice. That's a nice fit. That looks good. Okay, so take our glue, run it along that seam. It is revealing a little bit of a gap on the, I can never remember what is port and starboard, on the passenger side. Of course, passenger side might be different to you if you're in England or I think China. They drive on the same side of the road as England. Anyway, with the glue convincing it to stay, so you get a little bit of a gap right there. A little bit of a hole there. I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do about it. What I can do is put some putty in it after this is cured and close up that gap. There's so much rivet detail on here along that, especially around that seam where the two pieces go together. There's a lot of rivets going around that, and so I don't really want to file it down or sand it or anything. So we're going to put this down and put it aside because we're going to work on some other types of flaps. Now, one thing they do not tell me is any kind of colors or anything that these should be on the insides. You know, some planes, the inner workings of our flaps are like red, or so they're white or something like that. They don't have any color call out at all. So I'm just going to assume they're kind of a grayish color and leave it at that. So we got to grab parts off of our A tree, A1, A11, and A20, and then a couple of pieces off of our N. So my A tree is right here in my face, so let's grab 1, 11, and 20. This is number 1 right here. My time today is a little bit short, so I think we'll put the one side together and then maybe get this together, and then I might have to call it a day. Number 11 is next. Over here, number 11. And then we needed number 20. This guy right here. Okay, and then we need N, 21, and 23. And here's 21. 20, 21, 2, and 3, they all look the same to me at first glance. I'm going to keep them separate. So 21, I'll take 21 off first, and I'll deal with that in a minute. We're going to clean these up and see what's involved with this. So we're going to take this guy. It looks like in this fashion, we've got some specific slots and stuff going along here. Looks like this guy's going to go upside down like this. I don't really have this drawn in a way that's easy to determine. It looks like it's going to go into this slot here, like this. And then it's going to go down into the channel of A1. Does it go into the channel? Or does it just go on the edge? I gotta clean up A1. We got some undergrading here. They're nice enough to undergate this piece. Why didn't they undergate those forward flaps? They undergated this one too. So it looks like these two are going to go together like this. Assuming I get these cleaned up properly. So the way they draw this out on here, it looks like you're supposed to put it right on this front edge, or possibly inside this little channel. But when you actually look at how these are going together, these go together like this, with their pins lining up. Come on. With their pins lining up like this, on the leading edge like this. So now there really is nowhere for this channel to go except just right in there. Okay, it kind of just sits on that edge inside. Like that. And if we just take this out for now, open this up, that means it's just sitting on the inside there like that. They do have this little bar on the back to line it up in there, so that you know you have it lined up like this, and that's how that sits. So I'll glue this in. A little glue along there, all the way along. But it should sit flat against there and on this side. Let's put a little glue along here. Help this one down on it. Make a little sandwich like that. Just in case I missed some spot, I extra thin along that edge. Little extra squeeze. There we go. Now we have these. Okay, so they have them. It's kind of weird the way they've drawn them. You have one wide tab and two little small ones. So the wide tab goes into that piece. Okay. Other than that, I don't think it matters whether you have an up or a down or whatever. It looks like this tab is actually off to one side. It looks like that might be the case here. That it's only going to fit in one way. Which in this case would be like that. And it kind of lines up. It lines up with these little tabs here on each side. So it gives that kind of a look of, it's actually part of this mechanism, whatever this is. So the other one is N23. We got to grab that one now. What I'm going to do is, this one is for the right. I will do the left one off camera. So this one, it looks like the tab is in the center. I don't think it matters. Just need it to get in its hole. Like that. And that it's straight. There we go. And just in case it is touching there. It should be straight. There we go. Okay, so that's that. And that's how that's going to look. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that's the right side. That's done. I'm going to do the left one. I'll do that off camera. You don't need to watch me do this twice, especially for the amount of time that it takes to do it. We're going to do this guy here. We'll get this done, and then I'll call it a day. Okay, so A23, I'm going to grab that. A23. The picture makes it look like it's huge, but it's not really. There's A23. Okay, make it look huge. Clean up the edges on this. Including this edge here. Okay, so we've got this guy here, sitting just like that. I'm going to take N32 and 41. Okay, they show them how they're going to go on here. Okay, N32, it's this little rod here. They say they got the paint color callouts on this, so you know what color they're supposed to be. Which Mr. Colors C308 is light ghost gray. Okay, so there's that one, and we need 41. This guy right here. Okay. So, take this, tweezers. It's got a little hole right in the end there. That is supposed to go onto that little pin right here. And then it's supposed to go into this little slot right there. So I'll just bring that up. And it's going to sit just like that. So, a little glue right there to help him stay in his little home. And a little glue on this tip. To help him convinced to stay home. So you can see it's a little difficult to see what it is, but that's how it goes in that position there, like this. Okay. Just like that on the end. Okay. And then N41 just goes into this little slot right here that's on the underside of it. And kind of hangs off a little bit. Just kind of hangs down there. The picture doesn't do it justice as far as exactly how far off it hangs. So there's N41 in place now, like that. Okay, there's a little rectangular slot for it to sit in. Okay, and that's where that goes. Okay, so I got to do the same with the other side. I got to do A22, and with its parts do the same thing for the other side. This is going to get sit down, and that gets to dry and cure. And this is where I'm going to end it for today, guys. We basically just got some stuff putting these together, and we're going to put those in to get this stuff assembled. That's going to be next time. Okay, so for now, that's just going to be it as far as getting our flaps and stuff installed. Yeah, unfortunately this kind of little more detailed stuff takes time, and that's just the nature of the game. It takes time to put these little pieces together, but at the end it looks really good because you have that detail, and that's really nice. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for the support. Thanks for the comments. The new subscribers, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate that. If you like this stuff, please hit that like button. Leave a comment down below too, right? I love reading your guys' comments. It's really awesome. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Help my channel out a little bit, eh? It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to subscribe, so why not, right? Come on, guys. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for everything, and we'll see you all in the next one.